Hello, dear viewers and listeners. This is Eteta TV. I am Mwl.Chiku Ghaimo. Welcome to the English orientation course. Today's lesson, dear viewers, is about responsibilities in the family. Responsibilities in the family. This is lesson number 2. In the previous lesson, dear viewers, we discussed about the types of work. You may take this opportunity to recall what we have already discussed as far as the world of work is concerned. In the previous topic, dear viewers, we discussed about different topics and different concepts that are related to work. We discussed the meaning of work. We discussed the meaning of job, the meaning of sector, and lastly, we talked about the meaning of employment. Coming directly to this lesson today, that is responsibilities in the family, dear viewers. Here, we need to know what is the meaning of responsibility. Responsibility is a state of having a duty to perform. Is a state of having something to do in different contexts. Whether you are at home, as a student, as a child, what you are supposed to do is what is referring as your responsibility. So this applies at home, at school, at working environment. In all this context, people have their responsibilities to perform. Let's take an example. As a child, you have different responsibilities to perform, whether you are at home and sometimes you are at school. As a child, when you are at home, you might find or you may be asked to perform, maybe to clean your room, to sweep to clean your school, the house compounds, or you might be asked or involved to perform or to help your mother to perform activities like cooking, washing clothes, and the like. Whether you are at school, dear viewers, also you might find yourself needed to perform different activities, including classroom activities. As a student, you might find yourself needed to write your notes, perform different assignments provided by the teachers. Out of the classroom, you might be needed to clean the school compound and the other activity that you might find yourself needed to perform. Dear learners, at this moment, you have to share with your friends what you are supposed to do every day. Now try to share with your friends what you are supposed to do as far as the concept of responsibility is concerned. I have said that a responsibility is something that you are supposed to do in different contexts. Whether at home or at school, and in other contexts, what you are supposed to do. Also, this applies to the concept, this applies to the job. I was referring you as a child, you have your own responsibilities at home and at school. But responsibility also applies to an adult. That's why I referred the previous lesson about the meaning of job. Where if your mother is employed in a certain sector, she would be responsible to perform different responsibilities as a worker. This also applies to your father. If he's working in a different, maybe a health sector, he has to perform different responsibilities. So responsibility applies whether you are employed somewhere or whether you volunteer yourself to perform different activities at home or at school and in other different places. Dear viewers, at this moment, let me provide you with an activity. Look at the pictures, dear viewers. These pictures demonstrate different activities or different responsibilities performed by different people. When you look at this picture, try to recall in the previous lesson where we discussed the different jobs. Look at the first picture. What is the boy doing? What is the boy doing? A boy is performing differently. A boy is doing something. What is he doing? When you concentrate at that picture, you may find that a boy is splitting firewood. All of you say splitting firewood. Splitting firewood. In splitting firewood, a boy is using an instrument called an axe. An axe is made from an industry. That's why I insisted you to recall the previous topic if you appeared to watch that topic. We discussed different occupation jobs, and in industrial sector we discussed about those people who are involving in making different products. So an axe that the boy is using to split firewood is made from industry. That is the connection of these two subtopics. Look at picture number 2. What do you see, dear viewers? What do you see at picture number 2? Picture number 2, if you concentrate on it, you may see a girl is carrying firewood. A girl is carrying firewood. So what is the responsibility performed by that girl? The girl is fulfilling the responsibility of collecting firewood. Dear listeners, when you look at picture number 3, you may see a girl carrying something. She is carrying a bucket of water. All of you say a bucket of water. The responsibility that is being performed by the girl is of fetching water. The girl is fetching water. She is fulfilling a responsibility of fetching water. Coming to picture number 4, dear viewers, what is the boy doing? What is the boy doing? If you concentrate on it, you may see the boy sweeping the floor. All of you say, he is sweeping the floor. He is sweeping the floor. So, the responsibility that is performed by a boy is to clean the compound. To clean the compound. And when you look at picture number 5, you may see a girl doing something. What is she doing at picture number 5? What is she performing as a responsibility? You may see a girl feeding an animal. And you may say, can you try to identify such an animal being fed by the girl? You can simply say a dog. So a girl is feeding a dog. Look at picture number 6. What is the boy doing? When you look at picture number 6, you might find a boy washing his clothes. So the responsibility that is performed by the boy is to wash clothes. So all of you say washing clothes. He is washing clothes. Dear viewers, after discussing the pictures, now let us practice what we have already learned in our daily life. We need, as we have said, that this is an English orientation course, and it is purposely to develop or to improve your language skills. That's why you might find yourself being asked to pronounce where you could be practicing your speaking skill. When you are supposed to pay concentration or to listen, you will be practicing listening skills. And for that case, in activity here, you are supposed to construct the sentences. That means you might be now trying to use this new language. Question number 1 is asked you to perform a particular activity. Number 1, what do you have to do before going to school? What do you have to do before going to school? Coming back to the heading, to the lesson today that is about responsibility in the family, dear viewers. When you are supposed to fulfill something, we use the verb have or has. Now, when answering, when responding to these questions, you might be using that particular word that is have or has. Now, when you listen to me carefully, you might find which context could I using have or has in order to improve your language. Number 1, when the question is, asks you that, what do you have to do before going to school? Dear viewers, can you answer this question? Or in other words, let me ask you, do you help your mother to feed an animal, to feed animals before going to school? Dear viewers, do you help your parents to cleaning the house? Do you help your parents prepare breakfast before going to school? So when answering this question, you may say, yes, I have to help my mother preparing the breakfast. I have to help my mother. I have to help my mother prepare breakfast before going to school. Also, do you iron your clothes before going to school? I iron my clothes before going to school. Do you help your mother to prepare breakfast before going to school? I help my mother. I have to help my mother prepare the breakfast before going to school. Dear viewers, as you have seen, using the word have to show that you are supposed to do something. You are obliged to do something, whether students, whether a child at home, what you are supposed to do. You have to use this verb have. I have to do this. I have to do that. I have to do this. In responding this question, in order to show that structure of, that word of responsibility, that sense of responsibility, you have to use the word have. Going to another question. Dear viewers, what do you do what do you do after coming back to school? When you come back to school, what do you do? Let me ask, do you help your mothers to prepare for the dinner? Do you help your mother to fetch water, dear viewers? Do you help your parents to clean the school, to clean the house? If the answer is yes, you may say that. I have to help my mother to prepare for the dinner. I have to help my mother to take care of my young brother. I have to prepare, I have to wash my clothes after coming back to school. So in completing this part of the lesson, you have noted that I do use the verb have to show the sense of responsibility. Now, let me give you the last assignment. At this moment, I'm sure, I hope that you are now able to write a paragraph describing the responsibility of your partner, of your friend. Now go and write this work that is responsibility of your friend. For example, you may start like this. Aziza is a student, is a former student at Mwl.Chiku Secondary School. Every day, she has to help her mother. She has, because we are talking of Aziza now, we can say she has to help her mother to clean the house before going to school. She also has to help her mother prepare for the food after coming back to school. That's the end of this session. Keep on watching the next lesson. Thank you and goodbye.